I'm a Sagittarius man, right? As a man, it's my birthday. I have to understand what is the cause and effect of some shit. Because you will see a situation 6 months after a situation. You see what I'm saying? You'll see some shit. Because it's outside, I'm in a public situation, so you gonna see it when you see it, and then your opinion come then.
It's looking like somebody just got cut out the Bad and Bougie remix for real. Cause Quavo and Offset might be right back at each other's necks, and this time the streets are convinced it's done for good. The official story? Offset was just on Joe Budden's podcast talking about lies, growth, and how choices come back around. But the unofficial story? That man basically just admitted he smashed up the street. And now, everyone's connecting the dots straight to the ices of his own cousin. And just like that, folks started digging up every old messy lyric, shady interview, and cryptic post, realizing that maybe, just maybe, this was the bomb that blew Migos apart for good.
None that I left went up, so I don't know how to experience.
Now here's the crazy part. These dudes weren't just business partners. They were family, blood. You'd think there'd be a line they would never cross, but if these rumors are true, Offset crossed it, and once you do that, there's no going back. Word on the block is Quavo didn't just sit there mad, he made moves. And if that's true, then welcome to a brand new chapter of the Migos Cold War. One that could get real ugly, real fast. Hooking up with extra sugar, baby. Let's break this down. Offset pulled up to that Joe Budden interview looking like he had nothing to prove. Calm, cool, collected, rocking that I'm unbothered energy like it was a diamond chain. But the second the talk shifted to relationships, hurt feelings, and who's been creeping, oh, that calm started cracking. Man started dropping gems so spicy the whole block was leaning in to catch every word. He was basically letting it slip that he knows exactly why Cardi been spotted with Stefon Diggs. Cause according to him, he's done her dirty more times than the internet could even keep count of.
If me and Mel are together and I cheat on her and I go get
some
or
and then I end up with
somebody that's
Idris.
And of course, Joe Budden being Joe Budden, he couldn't resist pulling out the messiest receipts known to mankind. Next thing you know, Joe's running down the entire lineup. And yep, Edie's name was sitting right there next to Chrissy and Rock and Ari, like it was roll call at the Drama Olympics. The wild part? Offset wasn't even denying a thing. He just let it sit there, all heavy in the air, for everyone to piece together on their own. That little wink-wink energy? Yeah, it was loud without him ever having to spell it out. By the time Joe was done, it didn't even feel like an interview anymore. It felt like a straight-up confessional booth. Offset kept it slick, though. Never confirmed, but never shut anything down either. He made it crystal clear, if the rumor mill wants to run wild, he's not gonna be the one to stop it. And that's when the streets started side-eyeing hard. Cause if Offset's low-key throwing shade on camera, how close are we to Quavo stepping in off camera? Let's be real. Quavo and Saweetie's breakup wasn't just a split, it was a full-blown reality show without the contract, except for that infamous elevator footage TMZ snatched up. We're talking scuffles caught in HD, a Bentley getting repossessed like it was a scene out of a music video, and subtweets sharp enough to cut through an iced-out chain. But by late 2022, Quavo wasn't just tossing shade, he was dumping the whole frosty Christmas tree on her. You remember that messy track with Takeoff? Oh, it wasn't subtle at all. That bar, Isha, please, cause she too messy. Please, my dog behind my back, but I ain't stressing. Not at all. You went the gang. You should've just said it. We would've blessed it. Had the internet losing its mind. The second that line dropped, social media turned into a crime lab. TikToks breaking it down frame by frame. Reddit threads stacked like case files. YouTube deep dives with red arrows everywhere. And guess what? Every theory, every breakdown, every digital detective kept pointing straight at Offset. Should've just said it, but here's the wild logic. Yeah, so when Quavo said gang, he wasn't just talking about the crew, he meant Migos. And gang also meant family. That's when it all started clicking for folks. Suddenly, those cold shoulders made sense. Quavo and Takeoff were moving as a duo, while Offset was off doing his own thing. That one verse told us more about the Migos breakup than any interview or press release ever could. Because if the dog in that lyric was really Offset and the gang was the Migos, then we're talking about a betrayal way deeper than just music beef.
For being ran through by this nigga brother and homie.
I don't think slur is the right word. Homewrecker. You can say that. You feel me?
And once you are promiscuous after being a wifey, you now lose your reputation. It's now, right? You know, like you're no longer as popping because right now we all view her as just an outright like whore, slur, right?
This wasn't the type of drama you fix with a couple diss tracks. This was family business gone sour. And remember, Offset and Quavo aren't just rap partners, they're blood cousins. In their world, you don't mess with a family member's girl, past or present, without that blessing. So when whispers started floating that Saweetie hooked up with Offset, that wasn't just gossip. It was a direct hit to the Migos brotherhood. Then came the part that made it even more damning. Before the breakup went public, TMZ dropped that bombshell elevator footage from an apartment complex in North Hollywood. The clip was rough to watch. It ended with her on the ground, him just standing there, allegedly hurt. And just weeks later, Saweetie fired off that tweet. "I'm single. I've endured too much betrayal and hurt behind the scenes for a false narrative to be circulating that degrades my character." Presents don't cover scars. And love ain't real if you're sharing that intimacy with other women. Now, before anyone thought Quavo was about to apologize for what went down on camera, he flipped it. Fired right back at Saweetie saying, "I had love for you and I'm disappointed you did all that. You were not the woman I thought you were. I wish you nothing but the best."
Boom. Cheating rumors shot straight into overdrive. And then came the online grenade. Stylist Khalil, better known as Zazlim, lit Twitter up with one post that had the streets frozen. He wrote, "Offset, do you really want to discuss husbands?" And that was aimed directly at Cardi B, who had been online defending her man after he caught those weed and weapon charges.
So the internet instantly went, wait, who exactly are you defending? Now, Quavo didn't come out and confirm anything, but between that lyric about the gang and the streets already playing detective, it might as well have been stamped and sealed. People stopped seeing the Migos split as just a creative difference. They started quoting Quavo's own bars about loyalty. Loyalty they believe got left bleeding on that elevator floor that day. And just when fans thought the tension between Quavo and Offset couldn't possibly get worse, the 2023 Grammys came in swinging. Sources at the show swear that right before Quavo hit the stage to perform Without You for Takeoff's tribute, he and Offset straight up got into a physical fight backstage. This wasn't just side-eye shade. This was hands thrown in the middle of music's biggest night. They had to be physically pulled apart backstage. And yep, there's a short clip floating online showing both of them getting calmed down after the chaos. Word is, Quavo allegedly blocked Offset from stepping on stage during the tribute. And that's when it all blew up. One camp swears Quavo swung first. Offset, he jumped on X hours later, shutting the rumor all the way down, posting, "What the F I look like fighting my brother? Y'all crazy." But the fans weren't buying it. They remembered that at Takeoff's funeral months earlier, the two didn't talk, didn't look at each other, didn't even nod in acknowledgement, even while both stood up and gave emotional speeches. That memory had people side-eyeing hard. One tweet summed it up perfectly. "Get your money and stay out the way, bruh. Karma will do justice." See, people hoped Takeoff's death would squash the beef, but it ended up proving how deep those cracks really were. Because if grief couldn't pull them back together, then maybe this was never just about music at all. This was personal. And when the Offset ET rumors started running wild, everybody expected Cardi B to come in swinging like she always does. But nope, she went radio silent. That silence had the streets buzzing even louder. It wasn't until her sit-down with Jason Lee that she finally even touched the elephant in the room. But here's the thing. She played it like a chess move. No confirmation, no denial. Just straight poker face. And that kind of silence, it only fueled the fire, making everyone believe she already knew the real story, but wasn't about to let the blogs eat off it. Things were already bad. She just wasn't trying to hang her dirty laundry out for the whole world to see. But then came the Oscars after parties, and that's when the tea started spilling everywhere. word from the Vanity Fair event, Saweetie had a very public moment that got the whole room buzzing. According to one eyewitness, Cardi spotted Saweetie, walked straight up to her, and snapped, "What you got to say now?" And the way it was described, real ghetto. Oh, child, the ghetto.
And you know that I was finding out that truth in and out. So it's like, if I entertain something that I know is not true on the internet, people be like, oh, it is true because you're addressing it.
Saweetie didn't flinch though. She didn't raise her voice, didn't give Cardi the same energy back. Instead, she hit her with that Ice Queen demeanor, keeping it classy but not backing down. Basically, Cardi was loud and in your face, while Saweetie stayed calm, letting her composure do the talking. Later that day, Cardi hopped on IG Live, clearly mid-convo with someone over the phone, keeping the buzz going. And just hours later, Saweetie went live too. But her move was different. She flashed millions of dollars in jewelry, serving luxury and power without saying a single word about the drama. To the fans, it was confirmation without confirmation. A silent chess game.
Keep going longer and longer and longer. And at the end of the day, I know what's going on in my house.
Well, and you have no problem picking up a phone and calling to clear the air. But that's why I love that. That's the growth.
Cardi made sure the streets had something to talk about, and Saweetie made sure she looked untouchable while they did it. In beef this layered, sometimes silence cuts sharper than any diss track. But back to Quavo, and how Edie's reputation started sinking after those first smash rumors hit. When she was with Quavo, Saweetie was hip-hop's Frosty girl, even bagging that McDonald's deal. But post-breakup, the headlines hit different. First came the get your lick back era. Lil Baby paparazzi pics, social media whispers, and blurry PVO shots that Quavo's camp called pure disrespect. Fans called it city girl energy, but the streets, they had their own name for it. And then Chris Brown decided to stir the pot, dropping bars about their alleged fling while she was still with Quavo. When Chris Brown dropped Weakest S Link and rapped, "You the weakest link out your clique, you F my ex-ho." But that's cool, I don't give no F, cause I F your ex when you was still with her. They say revenge is sweet. Now think about that. The internet went into full meltdown mode. And here's the kicker, Saweetie never denied it. But when Quavo clapped back on over O's and B's, she wasted no time firing shots of her own. She dropped DMS, shaded him online, and made sure her side of the story was front and center. But the mess didn't stop there. A blind item started making the rounds claiming Saweetie had recently put hands on Quavo's baby mama, Erica Fontaine, after finding out he'd quietly fathered a child with her. This bombshell came after the internet had already eaten up rumors about her with Offset, and then tossed in Lil Baby, Chris Brown, and now Erica Fontaine into the mix. The pattern was clear. Every move she made, every headline she hit, kept looping her right back into Quavo and Offset's orbit, whether she wanted it or not. Her post-Quavo era was never really hers. It was just another chapter in their tangled drama. But let's be real, Saweetie's roller coaster was just the side plot. The main story lighting up every blog right now, the cousin beef. Because after months of icy silence, Offset's new Joe Budden interview ripped the Band-Aid clean off every old wound. And the way he was talking, this wasn't just about Stefon Diggs or cause and effect. This was digging deep into old history, the kind you don't just forgive over a handshake. Now picture this. Quavo catching Offset backstage, still fuming from that so-called truth-telling interview. No cameras, no Grammy producers, nobody to break it up, just a closed door, a couple of sharp words, and then hands flying before security even realizes who they're pulling apart. At this point, it's not just about one verse or one rumor. This is years of unspoken disrespect. A brotherhood that went from diamond selling to straight-up dust. And right at the center, that one name, Saweetie, still sitting like a live grenade between them. A Migos reunion? Let's be honest, people are saying it would take a miracle to make that happen. This Cold War feels locked in, and with both men refusing to clear the air, the streets are left to write the ending themselves. So, what do you think? Did Offset just poke the bear with that interview? Or is Quavo holding on to a grudge he'll never let go of? And if this feud really is over Saweetie, could she even fix it if she wanted to? Two cousins, one woman in the middle. A bond that used to be unshakable now hanging by threads. And the drama? Oh, it's far from over. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this with your people, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next big celebrity meltdown. See you in the next one.